What's up, it's Gene, your coach and motivating impact storyteller. I want to share a new video series called Substitute Teacher Stories. Now, as many of you guys know, I am a professional speaker and an author, but some of y'all may not know that I'm also a certified teacher, and I've been substitute teaching for the last 5.5 years as well. Now, I know that you guys know that there's a massive substitute shortage in the country. And they're always trying to get people to be substitute teachers. And there's a lot of you guys out there, you're thinking about being a substitute and you're saying to yourself, I can go in the classroom, I can make that easy money. Let me go ahead and contact a school district. Well, what I would like to do for you guys that are thinking about being a substitute, or maybe you're already a substitute teacher and you're struggling, is I want to give you my insights. I want to share with you guys strategies I've used. I want to share with you guys what has allowed me to be one of the number one requested substitute teachers in the area that I'm in, and what has allowed me to do this successfully for 5.5 years. You see, I went through an education department, and one thing that we learned is how to manage a classroom. And that right there is the number one thing that's going to allow you to be successful as a substitute teacher. Now, a lot of people don't know how to manage the classroom. Some of you guys may be coming from corporate America where you had a staff that if they did not listen to you, you could just fire that staff member, right? But if you go in the classroom and you have students that don't listen to you, you cannot fire students. You have to understand that. You will have students that are disrespectful. You will have students that will challenge you in ways that you wouldn't even think of. And if you're not prepared for these, what's going to happen is you're going to get fired, you're going to get a lawsuit, or you may become YouTube famous. You may say something, you may do something, the kids record you, and before you know it, it's all over the news. You know what I'm saying? And those are the situations you can put yourself in if you go into substitute teaching thinking it's easy, or you're going to make easy money. Because here's the thing. They don't pay you enough for a substitute teacher for the things you're going to deal with. You cannot walk in there thinking to yourself, I'm just going to go ahead and make an easy dollar, because you will not make an easy dollar as a substitute. You will be challenged by those students. And if you're not up to that challenge, you're not going to be successful. So in this video, I'm going to share with you guys reasons you should be a substitute and reasons you should not be a substitute. Because if you see that these reasons that I share with you do not align with you, do not become a substitute teacher, because you will put yourself in a situation that you will regret. So the first thing I want to talk about are reasons you should be a substitute. Number one, you truly care about students, right? Now you got to understand, as a substitute, you're going to have about 25 or 30 students. These are other people's kids. They have different backgrounds, different beliefs, different ways of seeing the world. So your belief system or the way you see the world may not align up with a lot of these students. But despite that, you still have to care for each and every student like it's your own kid. See, if you go in there with a care for a student and you're not focused on the money, you're not focused on trying to push some type of agenda or whatever it is, you're just in there to be an adult, to, have high expectations with them, encourage them to do their work. Step in the role of a teacher. Step in a role as an adult who truly care about their education and well-being. Because this is what you got to understand. Them students know when you walk in that classroom if you care or not. And the way they're going to find out, they're going to try you. Now, when you first start as a sub, this is something you have to be mindful of. Anytime you hear these words from students, they are letting you know the way they expect the class to go. This is them preparing you that they are dictating how your day is going to go. When you hear them say this, we got a sub, and they're extremely excited, you need to prepare yourself. So the way you start to prepare yourself is this. You have to establish a relationship with the students that, number one, you are not there to be disrespected. You're not there to disrespect them. You are there for their well-being and to help them to be successful in their education. I remember when I first started subbing, and I'm going to talk more about, I'm going to talk to middle school and high school, secondary. I did elementary. That wasn't for me. That's one thing you want to figure out. What is best for you? You might do elementary, middle school, or high school. I am really gearing this towards the middle school and high school because that's where most of the big challenges are. So I remember when I first substitute taught in I actually did a high school. And I walked in the classroom, and it can be very intimidating because you walk in there and you have, 25 or 30 students staring at you, and they'll be looking at you like, you free lunch or something. And here's the thing. I did what was called a half day. So I wasn't there for the morning time. I was actually coming in when the main teacher was in there to take over the classroom. Now, I had never seen these students before. They'd never seen me before. This was my first time subbing. I was extremely nervous. And the teacher, before he walked out, he said, look, just come here. This is the assignment. I'm just going to be honest with you. They're going to test you. So as long as you keep them from tearing up the classroom, tearing each other up, you'll be fine. All right. So when he walked out the classroom, they immediately started talking. They started getting out their seats, things like that. So I said to class, everybody listen up, and one thing you have to do is you must, be confident, body language with your voice. I say, listen up, everybody have a seat. I say, sit down. They sat down. I said, I'm Mr. Mosley, and I know you guys know I'm a substitute teacher, and I want to establish something to you. I'm not a party time sub. Now, the reason I said that is because I started to brand myself as a sub, and this is something that you want to do. I said, I am not a party time sub. I'm a strict sub that believes in your education. I'm here to help you to take care of your education, and I'm here for your safety. I am going to show you guys respect at all times, and I expect the same return. Does everybody understand that? So they all looked at me and they didn't say anything. So I said louder, does everybody understand that? And everybody said, yes, sir. Now, I also said to them, I know there's some of you all in here who are going to feel that you're going to do what you want to do. That's not going to happen with me. Now, if you don't believe me, you're welcome to try that. And I'm going to make sure that I kick you out the classroom, right? So they started doing their work, and of course, there was some that was trying me, that was laughing, they was throwing stuff, blah, blah, blah. So what I started doing, I started kicking them out. I said, man, you get up out this classroom. You get out this classroom. And you know what? I ended up kicking out half the class. But check this out. Because I followed through, I showed them that I was a strict sub. I talked to them about doing their work. I talked to them about their behavior, and I put those out there wasn't willing to listen. What happened is, in the students' minds, they realized this sub does not play. And that's when everybody started knowing me as Mr. Mosley, the strictest sub who has high expectations. All right. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you truly care about students, and you also brand yourself as a sub that means business, so that you care, talk about the education, and you follow through with the discipline actions that you say are going to happen if they get out of line. Now, the second thing is this: you must be assertive. You gotta be assertive. Let me tell you something what's crazy to me. I never understood this about subs. They know they are adults, but a lot of them, when they get to a classroom, they leave their adulthood outside the building and they walk in as if they're not adult. So therefore, the students are out of control. They're disrespecting them. They doing whatever they want to do. And the sub is so afraid. They feel so powerless. They forget they're an adult. So therefore, they're timid instead of being assertive. So if you want to be successful as a substitute teacher, you must be assertive. You must tell the students exactly how the day is going to go. You must deal with the discipline issues very assertively. You don't have to yell unless it requires that in certain situations, but you need to be very direct. So if there's a student that's doing something, you need to ask the student, what's your name again? When they tell you their name, Carl. I need you to stop doing this. If you continue to do so, you will be getting out of this classroom. Do you understand me, Carl? And you make sure you get a response from them. Now, if that student is not responsive, if that student is not showing any respect, you need to call that front office and get that student removed from the classroom. Because if you don't, that particular student is going to be a leader for the other students. And if they see that student disrespecting you and getting away with it, the rest of them going to do the same thing. I always say it's like this. It's like if you had a match in the forest. If you threw a lit match in the forest, it will spread and burn the whole forest down. And it's the same thing in your classroom. See, as a substitute teacher, if you have one student that's on fire with disrespect and not doing what they're supposed to do, and if you don't put that fire out, it's going to spread throughout the whole classroom, and now your whole day is going to be burned down because you're going to have out of control students. So you must be assertive. Number 3. A reason that you should be a substitute teacher is you got to be able to handle criticism and possibly being made fun of. Now, you got to realize something, that kids don't stop being kids, you know what I'm saying, with their teacher or with the substitute teacher. They're kids, they're teenagers. They're going to make fun of you. They're going to criticize you. When you're first coming in as a sub, believe this or not, this may sound weird to you, you have to earn their respect. They're not going to just respect you because you're a sub. So most of the time when subs come in, you know, as a new sub, they will probably make fun of your head. They may make fun of your clothes. They may say something disrespectful to you. I remember when I first started subbing, the kid said something about, you know, my bald, shiny head, something. And I said to him, I said, let me tell you something, man. My name is Mr. Mosley, and you do not address me by Mr. Bald Head, Shiny, anything like that. I said, what's your name? He said, my name is Michael. I say, okay, Mr. Michael, that's your name. I'm going to respect you by your name. You're going to respect me by my name, okay? Do you understand? And he said, yes, sir. So my name is Mr. Mosley, and you, as well as everybody else in here, you will address me by Mr. Mosley. If you have a problem with that, you will not be in this classroom. Does everybody understand that? Yes, sir. And see, this is one thing you got to realize is this. Until you establish that respect with students, you let them know you're not going to tolerate disrespect in that classroom, and you let them know what the expectations is, then all those jokes and making fun of you and that criticism will stop. Now, they may do it in the hallway when you're not around. They might do it amongst each other, but they will not do it in that classroom, okay? So another reason that you should become a substitute teacher is you can handle criticism. Now, the 4th thing is managing the classroom. If you cannot manage a classroom or you're not willing to learn, do not become a substitute teacher, because you are a liability to those students, those schools, as well as yourself. Now, times have changed. You know, you get intruders coming in the building. People want to shoot up schools. Somebody may become a rape. There may be a fire in the building, whatever. And one thing you have to understand is when you have 25 or 30 students, if they're all in there yelling and screaming to the top of their lungs, they're not listening to you, they're not respecting you. And let's say an intruder does come into the building with the intentions to harming the students. If they get on the PA system and say, we have an intruder in the building, you cannot hear it because the class is out of control. Well, that person, if they want to harm students, they're most likely going to come to your class because they know your classroom has students in it. So if you must be able to manage a classroom, and all these things I shared with you so far, these will allow you to manage a classroom because you have established that respect. You have been assertive. You care about the students. Now, if you're somebody that don't care about students, there's no way you can make this happen. So you must be able to manage a classroom. Now, let's talk about the reasons you should not be a sub, because it ain't for everybody. Do not step into it because you think it's going to be easy, as I said, or it's going to be easy money. It's not. These are the reasons you should not be a sub. Number 1, you just don't care about students. You just want to make the money. You just, I'm going to go in there and make some easy money. You know what I'm saying? Being a substitute. Absolutely not. Don't do it. You ain't going to make no easy money. You're not even going to last a day. Because when them students get to working your nerves and talking crazy to you, throwing stuff at you and talking about your mom and your hair and everything else, you're going to be like, oh, no. And some of y'all, you know, you ain't going to be able to control your emotions. And if you get in there and you lose your cool, you wind up putting your hand on a student. You curse them out, they record you, you get a lawsuit. It's so many things can go wrong. And you got to realize this, as an adult, you're not going to win a battle against a student if you put your hands on them, if you curse them out. Because as an adult, you should know better, okay? Another thing is this. If you are easily ran over, if you know you're a person, you're a people pleaser, oh my goodness, you don't need to be no sub, because students love people pleasing subs. These are these party time subs. Let them do what they want to do. Go to the bathroom 20 times in one class period. Don't talk to them about doing their work. Not enforcing the rules. Oh, they love these easily ran over party time subs. If you know you're a person that's a people pleaser and you can be easily ran over, don't become a sub. Do not do it. Just find something else to do, because you're not going to survive as a substitute teacher. Now, the third thing is this. If you emotionally react to everything, if a student says something about your teeth, and you just get mad and want to curse them out, or they talk about your clothes, or they say your car raggedy. You know, these things are going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe you're walking, you got out of Uber, and they make fun of you. If you're somebody that's going to emotionally react, you do not need to be a sub. I remember when I was substitute teaching at this high school, and there was this guy. He was actually from the corporate world. Me and him was talking, and we was in the teacher's lounge, and he was so uptight. He was so angry. He was like, these kids don't respect anybody. What the hell is wrong with these kids? I'm a grown man. They need to listen to me. And I say, sir, if you're taking that type of energy in these classrooms right now, if this is the way you are reacting, you need to chill. They're getting under your skin. It's going to get worse, because they already done spread around the school that you are the type of sub they can run over. He had already been branded by the students instead of him branding himself. They have already branded him. And I was trying to help him to fix that. I was like, look, you need to go in there and establish yourself. Do not take this much emotion. No, they're going to respect me. Blah, blah, blah. Let me tell y'all, man. This man got fired, because right after we was done with lunch and he went back to class, he had an even tougher class. I know that class was tough because I had that class, but I didn't have no issues with them once I established myself with them. And I heard a bunch of profanity in the hallway, cursing, yelling and screaming. The man had a breakdown. He lost it. Them kids were laughing in the hallway, and they was having a great time. They fired him, because he emotionally reacted to everything these teenagers did. So if you're somebody that have a lot of emotional reactions, you do not need to be a sub. And the last thing, it just goes back to controlling the class. If you feel that you would be too intimidated, or you're not the type of person that feel comfortable in a leadership position, because as a substitute teacher, you're going to be the leader of the classroom, do not step up and be a substitute teacher, because you must control that classroom. Everything that happens in that classroom, you are responsible for. I don't care what it is. You are the adult. If you have 30 students in there, you're responsible for all 30s. When those students' parents are at work, they expect you to be taking care of their kids. So you're responsible for that classroom. If you allow that class to get out of control, somebody get beat up, somebody get injured, some student walk out of class and they can't find them because they was kidnapped or something. Oh, it gets real. Intruder in the building, and you have been allowing students to run out the class when they want to, not listen to you, and then intruder come in there, and God forbid, and students lose their lives and get injured, you're going to be responsible. So if you feel you cannot lead a class, if you feel you cannot control a class, do not become a substitute teacher. So this was my video for you guys that's thinking about going to substitute teaching. Yes, there's a shortage out there. They need more subs. You know, I do it as much as I can. I mean, I enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? And this is not something I do full time. It's something that I do, you know, when I'm not speaking. You know, it's good for me because I speak a lot of middle schools and high schools. So I know what's going on in the classroom. I'm up to date. But I also understand the challenges that teachers as well as substitute teachers teachers are facing in the classroom with today's generation of students. So I hope this video was helpful to you guys that are thinking about going to substitute teaching. And if you have the reasons I say you should be a sub, I highly recommend that you step into it, because it can be very rewarding to really touch these kids' lives. But if you are more on the list of why you should not be a sub, you don't need to be in there. I'm just going to tell you straight up. I'm going to save a whole bunch of teachers the trouble of dealing with an awful, irresponsible, and incompetent sub. Do not step into the classroom. Find something else to do. Hey, if you like this video, I want to ask you to like and share this video. You know what I'm saying? Support my page. Share this video to other people, whether they are going to substitute teaching or you a student teacher, because those kind of go hand in hand. And I think this would be some things that's also beneficial to those who are first year teachers, or some that may be early on and they're having some challenges with students. So this is some of my experience. I'm going to be sharing so many other stories, and I'm going to share them in their raw form, because I want you guys to hear the challenges that I've had as a substitute teacher, from here to get all the way over here, from being cursed out by students, threatened by students, all these different things that most likely you're going to experience as a substitute teacher. So stay tuned. I hope you have a great day, and always remember that you are worthy to be great.